There's only one track event that we know the entire world will be watching in Paris this summer. It is clearly the 100-meter dash. That event will crown someone as the fastest man in the world. And right about now, Noah Lyles clearly has to be the favorite. He never ran track in college, is now a triple world champion, and for the first time ever, is an American champion in the 60-meter dash. The reason why it likely took him so long to win that event is because it took him a very long time to take it seriously as a professional runner. In fact, the only sprinters who actually take indoor track seriously are the college kids. As far as I'm concerned, the 60 is just a bootleg version of the 100-meter dash jammed into the indoor track schedule. And the only reason I care so much is because I ran the 60-meter dash and the 100-meter dash at the college level in Division I. I admit I was incredibly average on my best days in D1 in either event, but all that really means is I was barely good enough to maybe sneak into a final and lose to all the sprinters who actually were that legit. But now that Noah Lyles is taking the 100 and the 60-meter dashes seriously, it got me thinking, does the 60-meter dash even actually matter? He won the 100 at the USA Championships all the way back in 2018, but it's only now, after his 60-meter dash victory, that I am convinced he is a legitimate threat to win the Olympics. So this video is a little bit different, because when something like this bothers me, I feel the need to see it through. And of course, I had to invite you along for the journey. The only way I know how to do this is by studying the only sprinters who actually have to take indoor and outdoor track seriously. Of course, those are the college kids. So I can answer the question once and for all. Does the 60-meter dash actually matter? Because the rest of America sure enough ain't paying attention to it. And if it doesn't affect your 100, at least not in any way that helps you win anything at the world stage outdoors, you might as well just avoid slamming your body into a wall at full speed in the first place. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. First things first, I looked back at every 60-meter dash champion and 100-meter dash champion in the NCAA from the year 2000 up until now. I was checking to see two things. First, which men won the 60-meter dash in college and went on to win something of note on the world stage. And secondly, I was looking to see what happened to all the men who won both events while they were in college to determine if they were really the best. What I found is that there are only 4 names on both of those lists. So the real question is what happened to each of them. Of the men who won the 60-meter dash that you might have heard of and never won the 100 in college, Kim Collins was the first. He won the 60-meter dash in 2001, representing TCU. But he also ran for St. Kitts and Nevis, becoming the world champion in 2003 in the 100-meter dash just 2 years later. He continued to set PRs at 40 years old and made the Olympic team 5 times in a row. But after Kim, literally nobody ever won the 60-meter dash alone and did anything on the world stage until Ronnie Baker did. He was also from TCU and won the 60-meter dash in back-to-back seasons, 2015 and 2016. He made the Olympic 100-meter dash final in 2021, which is a very big deal, and his indoor performances in 2024 are proof that he's a threat to make it back this year. Elijah Hall of Houston won the 60 himself shortly thereafter, in a meet where he also doubled winning the 200-meter dash. He never won the 100-meter dash outdoors, but maybe that indoor combo is why he was good enough to make the World Championship relay team in the 4x1 for Team USA, and that won him a silver medal in 2022. And the only other man you might recognize for his performance in the 60 is Grant Holloway of Florida. I'm not making this up. Before he became a world champion, Olympic medalist, and world record holder in the hurdles, he won the NCAA indoor meet in the 60-meter dash. That speed is the real reason why it's almost impossible for any other hurdler in the world to keep up with him. As far as I'm concerned, the 4 men I just mentioned all had some extenuating circumstance for the reason why they didn't win the 100 in college. Kim Collins had to race against another man, who I'm going to talk about in a moment. That is why he didn't win the 100 in college. Ronnie Baker was originally a 400-meter runner when he first got to college, and then shifted down to the short sprints. And he still went on to win the 60-meter dash twice. That already puts him in rare company, and it also puts his Olympic appearance into perspective in hindsight. Elijah Hall did sweep the indoor sprints, which is extremely hard to do. So even though he didn't win the 100, it explains how he was talented enough to make the World Championship relay team. And Grant Holloway doesn't even really count, because he is a hurdler who just has elite speed and decides to hurdle anyway. So far, I'm getting the impression that the 60 doesn't really matter that much, but I've got to do a bit more digging. So considering the names of the men who actually won both events in college, it all starts with the familiar face, Justin Gatlin of Tennessee. At the NCAA level, he won both events in 2002, after winning the 100 in 2001 against Kim Collins, like I said. He then became an Olympic champion in 2004 and a world champion in 2017. He also ran a whole bunch of fast races in between, with a very long hiatus as well. No matter how you feel about it, you've got to put him on the list as one of the greats. Richard Thompson of LSU in 2008 was the next man to pull off the double, and later that same season, he became an Olympic silver medalist in the 100-meter dash. But if you remember correctly, we all were focused on the man in first, and that season was his best on the track in his career. He did keep sprinting, but he didn't do anything that rivaled his Olympic silver medal performance. The third man to pull off the double was Jeff Demps of Florida, and he was only the fastest high school 100-meter runner up until that point. He also played football and tried to make it in the NFL. But in the middle of all of that, he ran in the Olympics for the 4x1 relay team in 2012. He only ran in the prelims, but it definitely still counts in my book. And the only other man to double is the same one who is now the 60-meter dash world record holder. Christian Coleman of Tennessee swept all the short sprints, indoors and outdoors, in 2017, and later that season beat Usain Bolt to get a world championship silver medal. But in 2019, he won the whole thing. Interestingly enough, he beat Gatlin to do it. And it is ironic that now he is the man Noah Lyles has to beat to get a world indoor gold in the 60-meter dash. They were supposed to battle it out in college in the SEC all the way back in 2017, if Noah actually chose to go to the University of Florida in the first place. All of this tells me that if you actually win both events in college, you're basically a lock to win something of meaning on the world stage. Jeff Demps underachieved in that regard, but he was also playing football the whole time, so we really don't know how good he actually could have been. The two men from Tennessee, Justin Gatlin and Christian Coleman, are two of the fastest in history now. And Richard Thompson still got the job done as the second fastest man in the world, which is still a big deal, even if nobody really notices. As far as I'm concerned, the 60-meter dash is basically a test case for the 100. It's not the same race, and it won't predict your future, but it can be a part of a larger puzzle that any sprinter puts together on the way to winning the one race that everyone actually pays attention to. Running full speed into a wall is not a good idea under almost any circumstances. But if you are a college sprinter, it's basically the only race you get to run indoors at that level. And beyond that, they give out hardware to the winners. I'm not saying that it doesn't matter at all, but if your goal is to become an Olympian and win hardware once you get there, then I highly recommend you focus most of your energy on how to win the 100 as well. Because college track and field is so competitive that if you can win both events, then it's likely almost nobody in the world will be able to keep up with you when the entire planet is actually paying attention. SCA track and field gear is here. Fast is a lifestyle, and what you wear should reflect that. Order yours at scarecruiting.com/shop. or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, It is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.